Hello. Today I just make a video, a really quick one, on how to develop a walk cycle. I won't make the full walk cycle, but just tell you about how I start mine usually. So of course it's not a straight rule. You're not forced to do things like I do mine, but it helps me at some point to be more organized, more focused, and avoid getting lost in details too much. So let's go. So when you have your animation like that, okay, your animation file, and you want to start a new animation, and you want to make a walk, you have one keyframe, you have just this strange posing here, which just doesn't look like a walk. A big mistake would be to try, placing your character and make the first posings like that, because you will get you will be really lost into the details that just doesn't work. Or maybe at first when you really start animating, it's not a good point to start your walk like that. So instead of doing this, what I do is making first the pelvis, making the movement of the pelvis right. Then I will make the legs follow the pelvis and hit the ground right. And once this is okay, I will, of course, I won't get the perfect move of my pelvis first, and I will adjust it when I will add the legs, but focusing just on one piece, which is the pelvis here, and it's just the masterpiece of the movement. It really helps to get things right. So to do this, instead of trying to animate like that, which is pretty strange, okay, what I will need to do is isolate the pelvis. So I won't go into rigging and isolate vertices like I've shown before. I will simply middle click on this, so I will select everyone but the pelvis, then create a new layer which will be called hidden, and here I will simply turn all these values to 0.001, okay, and that's it. I'm not able to pick this anymore, since this layer is a overlay layer at full opacity, so I can't click anymore on my legs. So I really can't focus anywhere else than on my pelvis. And once I will get my movement right, so let's imagine I will make a thing like this, maybe this, then this, okay, and get a loop. So it's pretty bad because I didn't get the same number of key. Maybe just add one more here. Whoa. So let's see what the ghost has to say. So okay, first I will go down, then I will go there, then there, then there, there, and I'm back to my first pose. Okay, so basically you need to have two main shapes when you make your walk. You have a infinite loop like this. If you look just from the front view, it's a infinite loop. Okay, so of course here it's not perfectly made, but you can already imagine that the character will hit the ground left and right, then left and right, then left and right. Okay, it's pretty easy to imagine. So if you want to fine-tune this, you can open your curve board and just take a look at how things move, and maybe some parts of the motion can be adjusted, of course. But that's not the point here. Okay, here what I want to do is just to show you how to proceed, and not to how to adjust keys. So isolate your movement, get a 8 shape, and by using the curves, get a good and smooth movement. Okay, then you can and you have to, of course, adjust the orient of your pelvis. Okay, so maybe it's not right, but when you look at the pelvis, it's not flat. It's always inclined from left to the right, and also turned this way. Okay, depending on which leg is front. So here it will be the right one and the left. The left one and the right one should go below, not below, after. Well, sorry, I have some issues with my vocabulary sometimes, so forgive me. But you get this. So just imagine that here you want to really grab the ground in front of you, so your pelvis tends and your whole body will tend to distort and grab the ground, and once it will pass, hop, you will have the opposite, like this. And not too much, of course. You have to choose the good value to have the work that corresponds to your character, which is a big problem for me, I admit. But it depends of everyone. Okay. Here you can see that I've got 8 keyframes plus the loop. You're not forced to have as many keyframes. You can have, if I'm correct, it's like 4 keyframes plus the loop. It can work at some point if you really need to be optimized about your keyframes, but just go with the number you want. Don't go with 2 keyframes. It will be really hard to make a decent work with this, with weight and that kind of stuff. You need to have at least up and down if you want to make the viewer feel the weight of your character, but else that's up to you. You can have more than 8 keys, of course. If you want more, you can add more. And then once this movement is okay, you need to go from there and make a O, like this. Okay. And of course, here I can already delete half of my keyframe by clicking there. Okay, and it won't delete the loop. The loop key is not really a key that you can delete. And I click on the first button of the cycle maker to generate the second cycle. And I have my 2 O's. Okay, so you should have a 8 shape from the front view and a O shape on the side view. You're not forced to have a perfect O, a perfect circle. Of course, it's even better if you have a stylized shape, which brings more character to your character. Sorry for repeating. So you can adjust, but if you want, you can have a perfect O. It's, of course, it's cool. And that's it. Okay, and then once you are okay with this, you can go back into your hidden layer either turn it to 0 or click on the little eye icon, and then you will select both legs, hit the little hammer, so now I can view my legs in the layer hole, and I can adjust their movements based on what my pelvis does. So maybe like this, and it's probably false because I'm just doing this on the go. Okay, but let's just try making this. Okay, then I will just delete and regenerate. Okay, so it's pretty trap, of course, probably because the movement of my pelvis is not perfectly made. So maybe if I bring down this below, then I will turn red this key, then this one, maybe not this one, but just, yeah, like so. Okay. And then I can reverse this to the other foot to have planted keys. Okay. So it's not perfect, okay, but it's just how it can be decomposed. And if you need to go further, then you will, so once you've made your pelvis and your legs, you do the same steps, going there, clicking on the icon, but then you will go for the trunk plus the head. Once you're okay with your pelvis plus legs plus trunk plus head, you can add the arms, forearms, and wrists and fingers, but don't animate fingers yet. Just make the movement right between the legs and the arms, and okay, try to find some weight, okay, and don't add keyframes to make overlaps on your arms. It's not necessary. If you want to have a good walk, you can reduce your walk to just 8 keyframes. It's pretty enough. And then once your walk function pretty good, you can start adding details like animating the cloth, animating fingers, animating maybe hairstyle, sorry, maybe animating shoulder guard here, because you may have some colliding geometry, so you want to fix this. Maybe you want to add some subtle animation, some secondary movements, like the character is walking around her, sorry. So you want to have another layer that goes much longer than the base one, which is the wall here. So that's all these steps. You can find them in the tutorial I've made, the time lapse I've made of the clone trooper. So just watch this again. I know it's really sped up, but really fast, but it just describes the main posings, the main steps I go through each time I make a walk. Okay, and of course, if you watch this video, you may see that I didn't isolate the pelvis first. I made my posings like really with the wall character, but that's just because I've made a few walks, so I know how to place my legs versus my pelvis versus my shoulders versus my arms. Even at the beginning I'm almost there, but when I've learned how to make walks, I couldn't do this, and making first the pelvis, then the legs, etc., just helped me a lot. Okay, so I'll stop here. It has to be quick. It had to be quick, but yeah. I hope this helped you, and if you have any question, write this in the comment below, and see you next time. And for the French people, I'm sorry I've said that this video should be in French, but you know, well, that's I hope that's not a problem. Well, see you, and have a good time animating in Akeytsu.